we'll see. Okay. All right, so I think since everyone is here, I will call the meeting to order at 7 o'clock on the dot. First will be roll call. Myself, Caleb Plagge is here. Paul Varga,
Here.
Judy Austin,
Here.
Tim Rhodes,
Here.
Ken Summers,
Here.
Keith Lipker.
Here.
That's all the regular members. Now for alternates, Rob Chernick
Here.
and Bill Becker.
Here.
Okay, full house. Since everyone's here, there'll be no seating of alternates. So next step is going to be communications. I just had two things. So today we received a letter from the senator about potential funding that he was planning for, I'm assuming this go around for the budget. So I figured that's something that we can look at when we discuss the budget process and the updates going forward. It's two different grants that he's proposing of more money being distributed out to the town. So I can show the letter then if that's all right. And then the only other thing was I heard from Sherry Susie this week about the suspense list of we have to approve it for the tax assessor. So we can add it to the agenda if we can make a motion to do that, because it was after I processed the agenda.
So moved.
Okay.
I'll second.
And then seconds. So Pam seconds. All right, great. So we'll add that after the discussion of the budget process. We'll look at the suspense list and then make a motion to approve it. Okay, so then next is going to be approve the minutes. So it's for the first one for the regular meeting minutes from March 26th. I can pull it up, or if people have any comments related to it.
Hang on. This was a regular meeting?
Yes. Here, let me turn this down. Make it a little
Okay.
lower.
Don't we have to first approve them and then do the changes?
Oh, okay. We can make the motion first. Okay. So who wants
I'll
to?
move.
Okay. So Pam makes a motion, and
I'll
then
second.
Paul seconds, and then we talk about discussion and changes before we vote. Okay.
So in section B, I'd like to remove, I'd like to just put a paragraph under funding opportunities and remove the but expressed uncertainty about long-term solutions, because that's kind of like an opinion. And by the way, my name's Judy, Judi.
Okay. Let me just share it so that way we can all see. I apologize. Okay, let's do this screen. Okay, so which section?
Section B, hang on, let's see. It's
Instead,
sex new business, section B, first paragraph. At the end of it, just a period, other funding opportunities, period, and then
okay.
remove the opinion.
I mean, how does everybody feel about that? It's fine.
I don't have a problem with it.
Okay. I don't have a problem with it either.
Yeah, I
We
mean,
can do that.
it's under her name, so I would think that if she felt it was misrepresented, then we
Yeah.
should be able to address that.
Okay. The only other thing that
Before we move on, can we get the exact verbiage? So first paragraph under funding opportunities,
yeah, and just take out the
In-
but expressed uncertainty.
remove express uncertainty to long-term solutions. Just remove that.
Yeah, just remove it. The only thing that I had was where is it? Knowlton Hall. So here, so set date and approved notice. The address is incorrect for Knowlton Hall. So it lists it as 5 Town Hall Road. So it's actually the 25 Pompey
By Hollow.
Hollow. So that should
If we
be
go
changed.
online, that's what it says. So I guess that's what I've been using, but that's what we refer to it as.
Yeah, so this building is the 5 Town Hall Road.
Knowlton Memorial Hall.
Knowlton Memorial Hall is like the other side of the road, which is then the Pompey Hollow one.
Okay. Google.
Google may be
Do not
wrong.
listen.
Yeah, don't believe everything you read on Google.
Exactly. It's like Wikipedia.
Good check.
Okay, so with those two updates, can we make a motion to approve it? Or can we vote? We'll vote to approve it with the updates. Okay, so all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Abstentions?
Aye.
Okay, so Tim Rhodes abstained. Okay, so then it was approved, passed. So then the second one is April 7th was the public hearing, so the special meeting after the public hearing. Are there any, or let's make a motion to approve it. So can I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Okay, Judy.
Okay, so Judy, a second,
Second.
Pam. So now we'll discuss if there's any changes or updates.
I just have one thing, Kayla.
Yes.
There was a communication prior to that meeting from the Housing Authority. And then you had sent out another one prior to this meeting from a gentleman on Ashford Drive, I believe it was. Those
Yeah.
communications like that and the information on the tax stuff too should be attached to the minutes somehow so that the public can see that communication.
Okay.
I think. I mean, if people disagree with me, but that communication wasn't read at the meeting in April, and the communication from that other gentleman wasn't read tonight. So I think it's only fair that if the public were here, they are not here, they should have the ability to see that communication. It shouldn't just be to the Board of Finance. It's not
Okay.
a personnel matter, it's a public matter.
All right. So then going forward, that's to be read out into the meetings. Okay. I mean, do you want me to read it now? Because it would be communication. Because the second one was received after the public hearing. So,
Right.
so
Yeah.
it would have been.
You don't know. I mean, you don't have to read it now. I would recommend it at the very least attaching them to the minutes
Okay.
so that if people do, I mean, going forward, I would recommend reading them out loud. But in this case, we already went through that, and that letter that we just received was after the meeting anyway, or the public hearing. So, that if he wanted to have that opinion at the public hearing, he unfortunately needed it to be sooner. But I
Okay.
just think that for the public's, the best interest of the public and to remain transparent to the public, I don't think we should hide them under the table, so to speak.
Yeah, that's fine. I can send them to Karen and Sherry, I think. and have them attached to the minutes for the meetings. So I can do that. Okay. Are there any other comments or updates for the minutes? All right, so then can we vote on it? So all in favor of approving minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
All opposed? And any abstentions?
Aye.
So Tim abstained again. Okay. Let me just stop sharing. Okay. Stop sharing. Oh, we're here. Okay. There we go.
that's this.
Okay, so then next is public comment. Is there any public comment? Anyone on Zoom? No? Okay. So then next is gonna be a discussion of the 26-27 budget and any updates. So the updates that we have, I guess I should have just kept sharing. Is, let me just pull it up right now. The final numbers for Region 19, they came in a little while after the public hearing, and so they were updated. Hold on 1 second. I'm just trying to multitask for a second. Okay, so it was updated for Region 19. So it actually went down about $10,000, our share. And so there was a new budget package that was presented at the town meeting on Tuesday. So the new mill rate was reflected then. And so our new mill rate is going to be 28.13. So it decreased slightly. And besides that, I mean, it passed, or I guess everything went well at the town meeting, and now this is going to referendum at this rate with the 5 questions. So they also provided the 5 questions that are going to be on the ballot. The fire department is broken out as the first question. Second question is the general government of all the other departments. And then the third question is capital improvement. Question 4 is the Region 19 breakout. And then 5 is going to be the Ashford school budget. So does anybody have any questions or want to go through anything or comments as to the update? No? Okay. So that was really it that I had for update. So then let me just, let me bring up the letter that we received today.
Or could you remind us when the budget vote is?
It's May 5th, May 5th, all day.
Do you need to follow up on the mill rate to approve the mill rate? Or have you already done that?
I think I thought that was
done
after the vote.
yeah, that's done after the referendum,
Oh, okay, thank you.
because it could possibly change. And this letter may, I mean, obviously, it's already, the public notice is already out for the referendum, so the referendum happens, but there may be different numbers that come in, so that could change things.
Thank you.
So what I'm sharing now is the letter that we received today from Senator Jeff Gordon. So apparently he has his own proposals for the education, the ECS funding, as well as the Meshanticut Pequot Mohegan Fund that the town receives. So
Kayla, it's not showing it. I still see the
Oh.
spreadsheet for the thing. Sorry.
fair enough. No, I think I just shared the file. I think that was my problem. I'll just share the entire screen. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Okay, so this is the letter of from Jeff Gordon. And so I guess I'm not quite sure of the politics, somebody please help me out, versus the governor and senator and what their budget proposals and how that affects us and whatnot. But so apparently he had something different than what the governor is suggesting. So we're basing our budget for the ECS funds coming in based off of the 140. So we have a little bit less recorded in the budget currently than what the governor has. So with Jeff Gordon's proposal, he has 2 years of us receiving $704,000 for 2 years, and then continue with some sort of adjustment after the fact. So, I mean, that's pretty drastic of an amount difference. It didn't seem like from the letter that there's too much information of if what the status of it, if it's something that's going to pass, or if it's just a proposal at this point. But this is something that is in the works or could be potential on it. Yes, Janet.
I spoke to Pat Boyd yesterday, our state rep.
Okay.
And he said the funding for the schools is being held up because some people feel it shouldn't be evenly spread out. Like there's towns in Fairfield where the mill rate is 11. So a lot of people feel that more should be given to towns like ours with higher mill rates. So they're in the process of working that out with everyone. So
Okay.
we're gonna get money, but we don't know how much.
Of course. Okay, well, that's good news. Hopefully that we would get more because of all of that.
I see this as Senator Gordon's way of showing you that, or showing us that he's trying to do something to get the towns more money and to get behind this proposal, because obviously this gives us even more funding than we would get with the governor's proposal right now.
Yeah, exactly.
So I don't know. I didn't know about this. I don't know if he's written a bill or if it's just a proposal. I didn't hear anything about it until 10 minutes ago. So it would be interesting to see if this gains traction and they actually push it through somehow.
Yeah, it really would be like a game changer.
Yeah, to Janet's point, it's politics is politics, and the towns are going to fight about the reps and the senators are going to fight about it, who gets what based on different aspects. That's why we vote for them, I guess.
Yes. Okay, and then just the second part, it seems a little bit more promising, like the Mohegan Meshanticut. That's gonna be increasing to 28, to where he says that where is it? The effort is moving forward, the appropriations of the proposal. It seems like that's more something that we could expect. this year, to where we currently have this grant as about 12,000. So it would probably almost double what we have listed, just to throw it out there. But yeah, I guess we're just gonna see. I don't know when we'll get all the final numbers on that and how this will all hash out. Besides that, we can move to the second item that we just added for the suspense list. I tried looking back and seeing how we did this in the past. I don't know, Paul or Judy or anyone necessarily what type of motion is needed or what we necessarily need to do for review. Sherry just said that we had to approve it and let the tax assessor know.
I think historically, there's a whole list. And the reason for the Board of Finance approval in the past was if somebody identified someone on the list that was genuinely collectible, there was a chance to challenge the suspense list, but not going through the list. But, it's probably just more convenient to okay it.
Judy, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't we usually have Linda come in and just kind of give a brief overview of what some of the bigger numbers were and why?
Yes.
Yeah. And I assume our current tax assessor is not in the room?
No,
Or
I
tax
did not
collector.
know he was supposed to be present.
Not the assessor, the collector, yeah. I went through it briefly. I mean, it all adds up to a big number. One thing I didn't do, and I tried to do it real quick when you had the other spreadsheet up, was how does that number fit in the collection percentage? Like we estimate 98% collections. So does that, we'll just round it to 20,000. Does that fit inside that 2%?
Yeah, I would think so.
I mean, my
Yeah.
own thing, it would be, it would be beneficial, especially for the newer members who may not understand what this is, to have the tax collector come in and explain it as to why this list is created. I mean, if you read through it, it says, why those people are not able to pay their taxes, so to speak. But to Bill's point too, some of those things are, I'm not entirely sure. Some of those things I would think, like the deceased people, their estates should be responsible for some of that, I would think. But I'm not a tax collector, so I don't know.
And Paul is correct, because my recollection now is a tax collector would explain the suspense list, and there was an opportunity to challenge individual items.
Okay, so I can make a note that we can have him come in, or I'll ask him to come in to review it with us.
So, yeah, can I just, I'll just recommend that we table any vote or action
Yeah.
until we have him come in and explain it briefly to us,
Okay,
at the very least.
sounds good. I'll reach out to him to see when he's available to come in, or do Zoom even.
Yeah.
I'll second it if you have to.
Okay. I don't think we have to make a motion or anything. I'll just send him an email and let everybody know. Or put it on the agendas too. So besides that, let me just look at my notes.
Maybe when you send the note, I was looking at some of the dates of the bills, and they go back over 10 years in some cases. So I don't know, is that just because it is a rolling, but some of these people are deceased. So I don't know if there's a statute of limitations that, maybe a flag that you can't chase that.
Yeah, Keith, and that's why he kind of needs to come in and explain it.
Sorry, I'm just writing it down before I forget. Okay. All right, so I will, I'll get with him and then we'll do the next item, the agenda items for the next meeting. So we'll obviously discuss the referendum results. I'll let everybody know, maybe we can have the tax assessor come in real quick, whatnot. So we can add that to the agenda. And then I think that's about it, unless someone has anything else. We'll just.
When's the date of the next meeting?
It's after the referendum, so it'll probably be that Thursday. Let me see.
I thought we had a meeting
We have a meeting before
next
that.
Thursday.
28th.
Yeah, I thought we had,
We could.
That would be the 30th, wouldn't it?
yeah, the 30th.
I'll look it up.
I think we do. Yeah, I was looking at the calendar
23rd.
today.
Today's the 23rd, so the 30th. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so then maybe we won't, the referendum will be on the 7th. So then I will see if I can get the assessor for next meeting, the 30th. And then if not, I mean, there's not much else to talk about. So we'll see. Maybe I'll cancel it
What?
unless the April 30th meeting, unless somebody has anything to speak of.
I would ask the assessor, or the tax collector rather, if he could come in either the 30th or the 7th, and whichever day works best for him. Because the meeting on the 7th, that's when we would discuss the referendum results. So we know we have to have that. We know we have to have that one.
Yeah. So I'll see if he can come next Thursday, and then if not, then I think it may be canceled.
Yeah, that's fine.
Works for me.
Me as well. Okay, so then the remarks for the good of the board. So my only thing, or at least like my takeaway as of right now, through like the public hearing and the town meeting and whatnot, is one of the things that we've heard is, how do we get more money to come into the town, whether it's like we need more commercial properties, because it's so based off of the residential. And so one thing that really stuck with me from the public hearing was we have to start looking for the future, because it seems like we're just in the present and we're stuck in the present. We're dealing with these issues and whatnot kind of as they come versus looking forward into 5 years, if we have like the ECS funding, whatnot. So one other thing that I wanted to try and talk about, or at least in some of the meetings, like going forward during the summer when we don't have too much, after this budget process, we'll see how much time we have left, is more of like looking at last year's, because especially since we had such a high excess of like funding that we had in the undesignated fund, of like, why did that happen? Was it due to the budget being understated or overstated? Was it the revenues coming in higher than we thought? What was the reasoning behind it? So that way we can try and get ahead of it as to like the other options of potentially using funds for CNR, potentially, just thinking of different ideas of how we can try and lower the mill rate without, affecting too much financially, whether it's, the town standing and whatnot. So I just wanted to throw that out there of like, maybe that's something coming up to where we can actually dive into the financials to see what happened last year, years prior, to then try and focus and use that for years forward. Because, we know that all expenses are going to go up. We know everything's going to go up. It's more of how do we try and figure out with what we have now to try and offset increases for future. So that was just my thought. And again, it's more of something that I want to try and bring up during the summer where we have like more time and where we can just have open forum type thing to where we can look at it and just bring different ideas of, because, I would like to know more about like the CNR and like, ways to that if we do bring money or like what the funding balance for undesignated, pretty much it's going to be a learning experience for all of us. And I think it's something that would be definitely beneficial going forward. And we can try and use that for next year and years to come to try and, not be in this state every year because it's,
Well,
everybody.
Taylor, the problem is that, as you said, everything goes up. So unfortunately, it's very difficult to not be in some sort of upward trend.
Exactly.
One of the things that several of the letters and speakers mentioned was the commercial stuff,
Yeah.
which we have no control over. That's not that's not anything we can do, other than support items that come across to the town to bring commercial into town. So my wife will tell you I have a saying: you can't have it both ways. So if you don't want to pay high property taxes across the board, then you have to have there's a give and take there.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that those people that brought it up in their letter or in their public comment think that we have control over that side, and we do not. Has nothing to do with us, other than as members of the town and voters in town. You can go to other meetings and voice your support or your displeasure, whatever you so want, but it does have an impact. It just and how much of an impact. And then the same thing with Senator Gordon's letter. If that's something that you think is worthy cause, then support it, write a letter, or whatever you have to do, to let your representatives know that you support things like that, so that your tax money that you pay to the state comes back to us and not going somewhere else.
Exactly.
Like you were saying, we can reflect back, look what the town has not let into the town, like up on the highway there, and business coming in, it's been turned away. What are they looking for in our town? It's got room, but it seems like certain things have been turned away. I don't know. It would help.
It would, and I definitely agree. But it's more too of like what we can do with I don't know about all the other funds, like we have the non-recurring fund, we have the undesignated, but then there all the other funds and cash and that kind of stuff of maybe we can look into, what is it exactly for? What are we doing with it? That kind of stuff of more of like the detail of like the budget to actuals from last year, like what's the reason behind why we have so much excess, because we were able to move over 500K. It's like, well, if we have that, then is it because we overshot something, that we didn't need, or, are we planning for future, that kind of stuff. So that's just what I wanted to say of just, I want to try and start actually looking at it at the financial level to try and figure out what we can do on our side. So that way, you know, we do our due diligence and not just say, well, it is what it is every year. So yes.
What Kayla is saying is actually pretty critical. It's important that the Board of Finance understand what's called the undesignated fund balance. What is the optimal use for it? There could be situations where part of that funding could be used to reduce the mill rate and sort of bounce over the impact of revaluation. These are things that the Board of Finance needs to be definitely familiar with to make the decisions.
All right.
Yeah, I would agree, but I would also agree that you can use that. We do use it for the capital projects. We could use it to take a little bit off. However, doing that, or that being said, when you use that, you also have to make sure that you're cutting too. Because if you're just taking it off and you're thinking that, you know, if you take a big chunk out and you're thinking that that's helping one year, it's going to bite you next year. So you have to take off some everywhere to equal it out.
Exactly. And I think it too, like, you know, looking at it, like during the summer, obviously when we're not stressed with the budget and everything, like, and understanding it and understanding, you know, that process of it, that is something that we could do potentially, you know, and not just having to decide fast, like as it was proposed.
Something you mentioned, Kayla, that I think is important is there are a lot of smaller funds that the town holds because of different taxes or grants that the state that have very restrictive uses. For instance, the taxes collected from the dispensary.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean they're not usable. There are things that different departments could use those things for that they may be putting into their budget already, where we could ask them to separate that out and use those funds that are designed for those purposes. Paving the paving of the transfer station is a good example. That came out of that whole NIPS fund project, and then there was a grant with the state that was also used. But that's important because otherwise those funds just sit there and we're taxing people for monies we don't necessarily need the tax for.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I know my department unfortunately we didn't have a lot of participation from the public, but we just did an opioid thing with the state so that we don't have to use department money or tax money to purchase Narcan. So there's a lot of those things that are out there that people have to explore, and I think that our board can look at those and see where they can be used.
Yes.
Not wanting to be a wet blanket, but depending how the referendum results come out, we may have to understand this stuff in like one meeting.
Okay.
Well, yeah, maybe you might be right, Bill, but let's cross that bridge when the river flows.
Exactly. Exactly. Well, that's why, you know, going into it, let's at least get an understanding of it if, you know, if it hits the fan. And now we have to do it. So, all right, sounds good. Will be posted in a few meetings after all of this has happened. All right, so with that, can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll move.
Second.
Okay, okay, meeting is done at 7:30, 7:40, just hit.
Woohoo.
All right, thanks everybody for coming.
Good job,
Appreciate
Karen.
it.
Have a good night, everybody.
Yep.
Thank
Good
you.
night,
everybody.
Hey, Judy.
Good night.
Night.
So,
Good night, John Boy. Good night.
it was nice, this was not a
Yeah, hey,
3 hour
Rob.